interested. Who is a mother in here today? Awesome. And I want to say, as corny as this may sound, I want to say thank you for your service to humanity. Because without you, children would not be here. Mothers, I think, are extremely important in our life. And I wanted to mention, did you all get a chance to read that information that Reverend Jackie put in the e-blast about mothers? It was beautiful. It was in last week, and if you didn't get a chance to read it, please do, because it will really touch your heart. And mothers come in all shapes, all sizes, colors, religions, or not. Mothers are instrumental in our lives. And there are mothers who are kind and loving, and there are mothers who are cold-hearted and seemingly cruel. And some of you may have had the kind mother, while others may have had the cruel mother. But I believe there are so many things beyond our understanding in this life that we will never know the reason why. We sometimes just have to take things on faith. And we have to understand and know that whatever we have, we need to make the best of it. I don't believe that the universe is a place that is random, that it just throws the dice and this is what Diana's going to get, this is what Kelly's going to get. I believe there is a purpose, there is a reason for everything, regardless of what it is. And I was very blessed. I was very blessed to be one of those that has had a very loving mother. And for the short 37 years that I was with my mother, I learned some amazing things. Absolutely amazing things. I learned some very big things in my life. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to honor my mother by sharing with you some of the most important things I learned in my life. So, what did I learn? Now, I'm really thinking about this because I'm thinking about how I'm going to say this. How it might seem when it comes out. Okay, I'm just going to do it. I'll tell you what I learned. I learned that there are some very big F words in life to work with. Absolutely. Some very big ones. Those words, those F words, I think are very worthy of a Sunday message. They're not what you think. They are failure, forgiveness, faith, and forward. And that's what I'm going to share with you. So I personally had an experience that caused me to stop, to step back, and really do some deep thinking. I had someone very close to me hurt me. And we've all had that happen. And when it does happen, it really throws you into a tailspin. And so I was feeling the big F word of failure. I initially was in shock, and I was feeling like there was something that I had done wrong. But in my mind, and the way I think, I knew I had to stop. I had to think about it logically and analyze absolutely everything that had happened. And then I needed to pray. I needed to pray a lot. My mother raised me in this type of philosophy, and I knew that at some point in this experience that I was a part of it. I was a willing participant in this experience. Our thoughts are very powerful. They are very creative. And I absolutely know I am a powerful co-creator with Spirit. My mother used to tell me we must accept the good as well as the bad. We need to go all the way. We can't go halfway in these beliefs, in this philosophy. You cannot do that. You need to understand the part you are playing in the creation process. The law works one way, regardless of how much you understand it or know about it. And that's the area where we usually get stuck. That's the hardest for us to accept. Because accepting the good things, don't we all love doing that? Those good things happen in our lives and, oh, yep, I did that. I feel really good about that. But when something challenging, hurtful, painful happens in our life, those uncomfortable things, we want to say, oh, I didn't have any part in that. I don't know how that happened. That's nothing to do with me. But that's where we're wrong. We have had a part to play in it on some conscious level. We have had a part. So after a long self-examination of where my own thought process had been, I noticed a few things. My number one realization was I had not been doing my spiritual work every day like I normally do. For me, that is something that is extremely important. I was letting the busyness of the outer life be my priority instead of taking care of the inner things, instead of doing my daily meditation, my readings, my stillness, my quiet. I was letting the outer things be more important in my life. And I was also listening to and internalizing some unsavory things being said. And there was a lot of negative energy flowing around this. And so unwittingly, instead of stopping it and thinking from my heart where I should have been, I kept feeding it. I let it go. So then I moved to my second part of my process, my next big F word, the one that sometimes can leave a bad taste in your mouth because it needs to happen, and that's forgiveness. And sometimes we look at forgiveness as giving in to something that we shouldn't. But forgiveness is absolutely huge, and that's how my mother felt about it. She felt that forgiveness would be one of the most important practices that we would learn in our life. And as my siblings and I had our fights, she would say again and again, you need to forgive, you need to let it go, you need to forgive, you need to let it go. And I'll tell you what, it was like an endless cycle, like a hamster on a wheel of fighting and forgiving, but as you can see, I made it through it. And holding grudges, she said, is something that will make you sick, will make you unhappy. And as a young child, I took that very seriously. I did not want to be one of those unhealthy people. I did not want to be unhappy. And so I listened to what my mother said. And I may be a little slow at it sometimes, but I do not hold those grudges. I do not want that in my life. And now many studies have been done that actually prove the effects, the negative effects that holding grudges, wanting revenge, does to your physical body. It can, and it will make you sick. So forgiving and not holding grudges is simple as a child, because we think differently, and we can let it go. But as adults, it's a little more difficult. Nathaniel Branden, who wrote The Art of Living Consciously, said, there's no power in victimhood. It isn't that you might not have had bad experiences, and it isn't that the pain is not real, but it's a loser's game to get stuck on, look what's been done to me. The only power is in, fine, it's all true. Now, what am I going to do about it? What options exist for me? But sometimes we don't want to forgive right away. It's not always easy. We are hurt. We feel we've been wronged. We are angry. And may I mention that this all comes from a call for love. It comes from a place deep inside that we need to have love. Louise Hay, in her book, You Can Heal Your Life, she says that for some people who have been hurt so deeply the best thing for them to do is to play a scenario out in their mind. And I know how this is going to sound, but to play a scenario out in their mind of what can they do to that other person that caused them pain. It's kind of that getting back at you type of thing. But for some people, this really works because it allows them to not feel like such a victim. It allows them to have closure. But she also said, do not stay long in this thought because you will end up harming yourself. But it is a little bit of something that can kind of kickstart you, to get you moving, to get on the road of thinking about, well, I can get past this.